Hello, hello, hello. We have our first replay from season Void's Clan. He's in the Fiji with Fiji, Renowned 44, London, and La Grassiniere, which are two rental ships that you're offered. For these operations, if you don't have them, you would be offered a Cleveland and a La Grassiniere. And he is a spotter plane, Fiji, which is interesting. This op. Oh, how do I want to describe this op? It's gonna get these ops are gonna get interesting. Well, this one in particular will be interesting when it goes to tier 9. And I believe tier 8 and 9, yes. I believe it will go to, tier 8 and 9 the last week and the first 2 weeks of the coming update. Now, the reason I'm iffy on this is because, well, I ground out the whole mission chain in a day for this first one. And I got very bored. It's not a bad op, there just isn't much to do. And the fact is that it's a good op, the ship's lineups are just terrible for the ships that actually work. Especially during the very end. There's very few ships that have shipborne ASW, so Fiji, Lazo, and I believe there's a third one. And those are critical for the minefields because anyone that's played this knows that if you don't clear those minefields, those transports will die. So it's really a tough operation in that the ship selection is very limited. There really isn't a lot of variety, and that lack of variety really does make it harder. I mean, let's be honest, if it was tier 9, Toxic, Void, I imagine a lot of Void's crew would be running Valparaiso. And I mean, I don't have one, but I would get you run like Georgia. So you have literally Georges and Valparaiso's just charging everything. And that would honestly make it that would pretty much increase the fun part of it.
Enemy cruiser destroyed.
The other tough part is that there's only a few select battleships that are actually really decent. Really Renowned 44, London, the tier 7 Commonwealth one for its secondary power. There's other decent ones too, like Poltava, King George, probably Duke of York. And the only reason we're not including Rodney and Collingwood and Nelson is because they're slow, the reload's not the greatest. And really in this op, you really want DPM. And honestly, for cruisers, Lazo is pretty much one of the crop queens for this mode. At least for this week anyway. Because she really is just an all-around decent ship. Great firepower, ASW, shipborne ASW for the mines. She's really a jack of all trades. AP on her is decent against tier 5 and tier 6 cruisers. So in what you're facing, Lazo basically excels against destroying. But as far as Fiji goes, Fiji's an amazing ship also. Fiji is an amazing ship. It is an amazing ship. I ground Fiji in randoms before operations ever came. Yes, I mastered the Leander in operations, and then I ground I believe I ground the Fiji in randoms. I know I did the Edinburgh and Cherry Blossom, the OG version. But Fiji's just an amazing ship in general. It is still very strong and very competitive. It's a great ship. I really do enjoy the Fiji. Fiji is just a great ship in general. It's still a great ship. Now looking at the kill count, Season has 5 La Gruciel has 2, Fiji has 2, and Renown 44 has 2. There is one other thing that does slightly worry me when I have entered this mode. When I see the rental La Gruciels, that's when I start to get a little worried. The reason is because it's a rental ship. It's almost like when you would play clan battles and you would see a rental Zao, a rental battleship, or a rental ship. You were like, oh. It was almost like a handicap, it felt. That's what goes through my mind when I see it. I see a handicap. And I'm not saying it's a bad player on the other end. It just kind of makes the hair stand up being like, okay, what's going on here? You do see that they have gotten 2 of the transports underway, but it looks like number 3 Jig has not been allowed to move yet. So, and if they don't get him moving, he will be destroyed. And I believe then they will lose a star, which is the timer that says ensure all transports reach the rendezvous before 5 minutes and counting down. And it looks like Season is going to make a run for it and try to get that transport running. The good news is he doesn't have to go too far in, but it's also really comfortable knowing that there isn't a Heinrich showing up yet. He only has the Hipper to worry about, and that's really the only down thing.
Attention, support that target.
And he's saying support that target because someone has to escort these transport ships. You've got to escort these things, and that's another slightly irritating feature of it. Because I was in it in my, it was my Lung Dung, and I had the Tier 6 Pan, not Pan, but Netherland cruiser, Kyrgyz, and the Kyrgyz actually went around, took the convoy that went around, like, that took the route that went around the middle, instead of going around where the other one is, where London's going. I had to take a battleship that was suitably useful for engaging all the ships, and the cruiser kind of went the more perilous route. And, well, you can imagine that cruiser was pretty much useless. He lost so much HP, and I was taken out of the fight. And that is the downside of that whole southern route that you see London going. That takes any ship out of the fight for so long. And you just look at the route. It is extremely weird. It goes all the way around the rock, then it turns and it goes back up, and then it turns back around, and it makes no sense at all. I mean, let's be honest. Convoy and randoms was much easier than this. Even when they did the first iteration of Convoy Escort for Tier 8, which I was not here for, but I remember and I heard that was a blast. It was also very predictable, unfortunately. But the thing is that it's just like, what the hell is going on with these transport routes? I mean, they are some of the most weirdest routes I have ever seen. It would be decent if they all kind of joined together and all the ships could, funnel around them and kind of escort them that way. But you can't. And then we do see the Fiji, Season Warrior. He's detected. He's out of the heal circle. You've got to really stay in this heal circle, because once you stop out of the heal circle, the transport stops moving. So that is a huge annoyance. And I mean, Season's doing phenomenal. He's got 10 kills, 132k. And that, for this op, is actually really good. And remember, this is short fuse AP on the Fiji, so it's a really good ship for this op. And don't get me wrong, La Gariciel would be a good ship too. But to be honest, I feel like these ops really, you have to take the tier that's the highest. Because there's usually an advantage to doing that. I know I was teamed up with the Void's crew the night before recording this, and we were running it for a few matches, and it went good. You know, we were getting like 4 and 5 stars, maybe like, but it's so hard to get a 5-star in this. Like, it's ridiculously hard. It's like OG operations for tier 6. Like, it's hard to get a 5-star. Like, it's ridiculously hard. Let's see, are they going to get that? Let's see. Did they get the transport? No. It's right there, and then it's a 4-star op.
We've destroyed an enemy cruiser.
So that is probably one of the main reasons why a lot of people will get that. Is that they don't escort him, so right there you've lost a star. And that equals more time you gotta spend in this mode to be able to get all the rewards. And that's very frustrating. And we do see that transport jig is under fire. It's got 10,000 HP and it's going down. So that will leave only 2 transports left if jig dies. And you've got to get at least 2 through to basically get that, ensure at least 2 transport ships survive. So you've got that going on. You lose 1, you're basically down to a 3-star op. And I believe jig is going to go down. At the rate it's going down, it more than likely will go down. If it doesn't, I will be very surprised. Yeah, it's 3,000 and counting. That's not great. Oh, and he misses him. Nice. Okay, jig is at 2,800 and safe for right now. Fortunately, the other Fiji is going in there and is dropping his ASW, which will clear at least a path. And then you can circle back around and get the other set of mines. So I'm not concerned about the mines. That's the good news. Still worried about jig though, because it won't take much to kill him. I feel like the worst is out for him, that he will make it, but you never know. You never know. The other point is that, so let's say they don't get, let's say, you know, well, okay, sorry, I'm stuttering a little, but you have the ones that are all usually going to get failed, get all the transports there, and then usually destroy the 4 enemy cruisers, or in this case, destroy 7 ships. As you can see, Season is the only one north. That's one of the other downsides, is that everyone goes south to defend the ships against the 2 DDs, that there is very little people left to defend and attack the ships that come in at this wave. And I mean, some of that is probably because, you know, it's a new op, people don't really know it, and that's understandable. But you really would think that, okay, the first time I can get it, the second time, that's really on your back. And if you're not understanding the op by like your 3rd time, then that's the player error, unfortunately. That's on your back. Now, like, Season is all up here alone. He's already used up one set of his torp tubes.
We've sunk an enemy destroyer.
And I mean, that's another thing, is that there are so many torp boats in this that it's ridiculous. Last night, I remember playing with Toxic, and he was saying, oh, I'm dead, I'm gonna live, I'm gonna die, because he was up here in a battleship against all these things. And, well, let's be honest. Your odds of surviving this are very low. There are only a few ships that could actually probably do this.
Enemy destroyer blown up.
And unfortunately, those torps are gonna miss. And it is turning, if he can reverse enough to get it, there he goes. Okay, but he's still got like 2 DDs in front of him. Fortunately, thank God for British short fuse armor piercing, which does a number on destroyers. There's the first wave of torps. He's got a nice blocking detachment protecting him though. That's the good news. He is going to take a torp up the butt though. He is going to get a heal off. I mean, he's literally beached himself into a battleship and is literally doing battleship stuff. And you know, all these cruisers, the larger ECLs, all these cruisers have range. But you're not seeing the ships really shoot.
Ship is on fire.
Overall though, I got very bored with this op. I got exceptionally bored. Now he is broadside to these, and you know, at this range, he can get Citadel. And you think, oh, just a Karlslav in a Königsberg. Okay, that's not much. Well, broadsiding a Fiji, yeah, you will take damage. But he's doing a remarkable job of tanking this.
Nice work.
And that should be a solid 4 stars. And it looks like the Fiji and everything down south cleared all the mines. So, yeah, we're looking at a 4 star. And really, that's the best you can hope for. Although, usually the best you can hope for is to literally win the op. He made $500,000. He made a nice 40,000 in ship XP. Must have had a blue booster or some kind of booster on there. Nice 3,000 free XP. Or 3,300 free XP, basically bordering on 3,400 with 342k in the new op. 20 kills. Team score, literally double his entire team. Literally double. That's insane. And you can imagine a huge part of that was from all those destroyers he blew up at the very end. And that's what I'm always telling you guys. Destroyer damage is the big thing, especially on like ops like Cherry Blossom. That will make the difference between a bad op and a good op. The only other thing is that when we do look at these kills, we have to think of it in 2 terms. He wasn't in a full division with, you know, Void's crew or anyone else. And that's significant. So let's say he was with Void's crew. The damage, the XP, everything would have shrunk because his Void's crew is really good. But even they, like Toxic and a lot of them, like Vader, they all agree that this op it's boring. Even I agree it's extremely boring. A lot of us all agree that we want flagship ops back because normal ops are boring compared to flagship ops. Even Toxus was saying, oh, I might have to play randoms this patch. That's a pretty big statement. And I honestly have to agree with Toxic on that I would honestly rather do randoms than ops. At least it's a challenge. But it's also a pain in the headache. But I mean, as far as season goes, A magnificent match, a really good match. I really do wish, though, that there was a better ship selection, because that's where the thing I have the problem with is that there isn't that ship selection. If it was tier 8, that would be much more funner. There's so many tier 8 ships out there that you could use. Bayard, La Terrible. Like, there are so many tier 8 ships that are British, Soviet, and British, Soviet, and Commonwealth. There are so many out there that are tier 8 and tier 7. Like, there are so many. Like, that would make the difference between making it good and boring. I mean, I like the op. It just gets really dull. But honestly, you have to play this and get the collection and finish it to get the San Diego and the credit and the Dubs conference compensation, which is a 11,000. So it's worth it in the end, but you got to grind, and let's be honest, you got to beat your head against the rock just to do it. At least I did.